Okay, another rapid game coming up. Let's see what we get playing Svyatomir from Russia. Okay, we get d4, knight c3, so we're going to transpose into a Grunfeld. And let's see what line he wants to play. e3, so I think this is known as the quiet variation. I think before playing c5, I need to castle first. And queen b3. Yeah, this is a bit of a tricky system. I think I should be taking here, but I don't quite remember. Takes, bishop takes, knight c6. Need to be a little bit careful about take and knight g5 stuff, although I think that should be okay. Maybe takes and c5 first. I think that makes sense. I'm playing c5 before I play knight c6. So takes c5, let's do it. And knight g5, I can just play e6 if need be. So I pressure center before playing knight c6, and whenever I play knight c6, I think I'm going to basically buy myself a tempo. It's the same tempo that I gave him in taking dc4 before he had developed his bishop. But at least I get it back. Okay, so him blocking the center, I think this is actually the right line. I think this is the main line in this line after dc and c5. So I can't play knight c6. How should I develop here? a6, a4. I'd love to play a6, b5, but a6 just provokes a4. I'm not sure if that really benefits me. Should I be playing knight bd7 to b6? Maybe knight a6. So knight bd7 does he want e4? Should I be playing bishop g4? So many questions. Questions that need answering. Okay, don't want to spend too long on opening deliberations here. Okay. In light of that, let's start with bd7, looking at knight b6 and then developing the bishop. Okay, so he does play e4. Now, should I be inserting a6, a4? I don't think so. That just weakens the b6 square, so let's go ahead and do this. If e5, I think knight g4, and then he has to deal with both these points. So if he just drops the bishop back, let's say bishop d3, I can consider c4 is probably not good yet. But let's say bishop e2, probably bishop g4 there. h3, I might just chop that knight to try to undermine these squares. Not really sure what I should be playing for here. Maybe if he moves the bishop, I should be playing e6 and trying to chop down his center. Bishop e2, e6. Because right now, he is kind of stymieing my central space. Oh, he allows me to take on c4, which I think I should do. Takes and e6. Let's take, because I want that bishop. I want those light squares. e6, if he takes on c5, can I just sack that pawn for development? Doesn't seem great. e6 takes. No, I see no reason why I should give this pawn. Does he want e5? b6, e5, knight g4. Some interesting stuff like b6, e5, b5. Oh, but then he can just take on c5, right? Yes, that's bad. b6, e5, knight g4, bishop f4. That's a little bit annoying. Maybe there, e6, but no, then he can take b6, e5, knight d7, e6. So what about e6 takes? Well, I'm not sure, but I need to play something. Maybe I should have been playing knight d7 last move, both protecting this and controlling the e5 square. That probably would have been better. So the question now is e5 overextending? I don't think so. I think it's just a good move here. So here, knight bishop f4. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and, no, here he can play e6. Okay, that's an important consideration here. e6, maybe bishop, knight h6 takes, rook takes. Knight comes in. Ooh, dangerous. Definitely dangerous. So maybe I should be playing knight e8. Looks ugly. Knight g4, knight h5, g4. Knight e8 looks ugly, but I'm gonna go ahead and play it. I think I need to. I think last move, maybe instead of b6, knight d7 would have been better. Then I'll have to take a look after the game. So I think white's better here. So despite the fact that he's given me the light square bishop, he's just claimed a lot of central space. So I need to undermine that stat. And I wonder whether e6 is playable. No, probably e6 isn't great, because then that gives me the d6 square. Bishop g4, he's lining up h6 here, I suppose. I wonder whether f6, f6, d6, king moves. If he takes, queen takes, that's fine. Here, takes, d6, king just moves. f6 takes, takes. I think this is a good move. I mean, I could play h6, but I really need to break open this diagonal. I just need to make sure I'm not falling afoul of any weird discoveries. But I think that's fine. Yeah. So let's say d6. Worst case, I can consider e6, but I think d6, king h8 takes, queen takes. That should be fine. Say takes, either knight or bishop takes there. Okay, I think I just move the king. Let's do that. Takes, queen takes. Okay. Knight comes in. Ooh, I think he should have inserted the knight. Should I take here? And then he has this. Nope. So let's go ahead and take this way. Knight moves. So knight thing is knight d5. I have queen f7 pinning his knight, which is nice. Knight d5 even bishop e6 is not incredibly dumb, I don't think. Queen f7 takes, bishop takes. I don't really want to allow that. Let's say queen c7, knight d5 takes, queen c7, bishop takes here, bishop takes, knight d5, queen d6 or something takes. That should be okay. Just making sure. That should be fine. Let's do it. So takes, let's say bishop takes, knight d5, queen g7 takes. That should be fine. My rook is undefended for the moment, so it is a tactical target, but I don't think I can. I don't think he can exploit that diagonal yet, concretely. Okay, so if we just play something natural, developing on the open file, let's play this. Yeah, let's do it. That may or may not be precise, but I've got to speed up a little bit. Yep. So he just moves his bishop. I think I can go here or here. Here, knight e. Actually, no, he can't move that knight because of the bat around the long diagonal. Okay, so that's useful. He backs his bishop off. He gives me a tempo to put my queen on this battery, although I didn't miss this move. Rook d6. Okay, so that was a sloppy placement by me. I think I need to play queen c8 here. Not the end of the world. That's fine. I can always redeploy it to one of these two squares, where it's fairly active. And right now, I'm kind of threatening to take here. Let's say, so now he has a chance to play knight e5, though, is the thing. So 95, knight g5. He's threatening this. Maybe I can give him that exchange on. So what about this? Here I take it and I can take here. Oh, he's on the bishop. No, here I can just take and deliver mate. So let's making sure I'm not blundering anything. Let's do it. Threatening mate for one thing. So check I can just take. Here, if I provoke f3, it's a little bit weakening, and I can play queen f5. Here, I'll just take queen takes f4, queen takes b7. I can take here, this hangs too. That's a problem. I gotta make the move though. So if here I take, obviously I can't, although the knight, wait, here can the king move? No, check, takes the queen. Let's take here. Now takes, he takes here, check. What about no? What about taking here? That seems reasonable, right? He can't play this because the knight covers. So takes. Looks okay. This rook can come in, maybe. I see. Okay, gonna have to do it. Don't have time to calculate. So rook here, I'm planning on rook g8. Okay, I'll take. What does he want here? Rook here, again, just rook g8. Seems fine. And now his king is exposed. I'm up a pawn. Although, no, I was going to say I'm up a pawn. Not sure how relevant it is. I'm up. I have, what, a bishop and a pawn for the exchange, or for a rook. But I think I have comp, honestly, because his king is very exposed. Now, do I have some weird discoveries against his queen? Don't want to hang this pawn. Need to make a move, so I'm going to do this and then play my knight somewhere. Maybe knight here is interesting, like queen takes knight here. I like it. With the idea takes queen f2, and meanwhile I'm hitting this. So I think this move is good. I don't think I'm blundering anything. Threatening to take here, although, oh no, he has this. I missed that. Queen h4 is crushing, right? Yeah, because, oh shoot. That's problematic. Queen h4, I think I have to play h5. What about this? I'll give a check first. Did he miss that? What about this? I can play this. Actually, I think that's just winning. Yeah, because check, I take the queen, although he has this. Then I can take here, right? Let's do it. Queen here. Where do I check from? Where do I check? Let's check from here. Yeah, I think this is correct. Because now he has to play his king up, and I can deliver mate on h5. That was kind of touch and go there, figuring out the correct sequence. With very little time on the clock, I'm happy with that. Did I always just have bishop g4 there? So knight g4. And yeah, so I was worried about queen h4 initially, but I think given the fact that bishop d4 comes with check, I can just force his king onto a square where I can deliver a discovery. Okay. So maybe after knight g4, like how does he actually defend? Let's say he had played rook e2. I figured there must be something there. Maybe I still just have this check. And these minor pieces in conjunction with his fractured kingside pawn structure and the infiltration of my major pieces maybe is just too much to defend against. I'm kind of curious. Let's take a look. Wait, what was I missing? Oh my god. That's so bad. I just missed the fact that the queen covers the rook. And he believed me. He believed my bluff. Oh, that's really sloppy. Here I thought I just had queen f2 and takes the rook. So I thought the knight was immune. But of course his queen just defends. I guess in my calculations I was looking at queen takes h7 here. I was like, oh, if I move the rook then the h pawn or the a pawn hangs. I was like, well, then I should have enough comp given my pieces flooding in around his king side. So I was just calculating rook f8 takes on h7, knight g4, And I failed to account for the fact that he played queen e7 instead of taking here, which incidentally defends his rook. Okay, but again, I had very little time, so I was just kind of following through with a plan I calculated with 8 seconds on the clock. Okay, but here, yeah, even here, I think I have enough comp for the exchange. The engine says what, 0.5, but given the fact that his king is so exposed, my queen can always deliver pretty annoying checks. I do have the majority on the queen side, and my king is very safe. I think that's enough comp. He does control the open files, and he has some nice central squares to activate his knight, like knight e4, knight d5. But I've got play. Yeah. So I wasn't too worried about giving the exchange here. Wait, I can just take here, and if knight takes... Oh, do I have knight h5 there? Knight takes knight h5, and he's pinned. And I'm opening up the rook. Here, knight takes a knight h5, yeah. Okay, I missed that. And how much time? About 30 seconds. Okay. Yeah, had I had a little more time to calculate there, I obviously would have found that. It's pretty simple. Okay, so this opening was interesting. Here, how do I handle this? I can play e6. Well, that's a little bit unnatural. I know this is a theme in some Grunfelds, but it feels to me like you're playing some sort of weird QGD instead of a Grunfeld. Okay, so bishop e2, like how am I actually deploying b6 and play like a QGD? Don't have a great deal of experience in the QG and like Carlsbad structures from the black side. But I guess it's natural enough, like bishop e7, knight e4, rook e8, f5 in some cases c5. c6, I don't like c6 because you can just get into a sort of weird exchange slot, which I I just detest from the black side because white can always just apply just a little bit of pressure in a symmetrical structure where black has no chances of ever being better really if white knows their stuff. So I really don't like playing into the exchange slot type structure. So didn't want to play c6. That's not why I'm playing the Grunfeld. I want a kind of asymmetric sharp game. e6 is reasonable for future reference, but also I can just keep the position open. Taking on c4 is actually only the third most common option here, so maybe just maintain your stakes in the center with e6. e6, let's say he just develops. Am I ever taken there? Maybe later on, maybe if he doesn't take, then bishop e7, and later on I can take on c4 once I've opened this diagonal. This seems like a reasonable game, like bd7, c5. Okay. So takes, c5 is, well, the engine likes it, but it's actually played less frequently than knight c6 is. Knight c6 I thought forced him to move his bishop again, but then, like, how am I contesting his center? Queen d6 and e5? Or what? Queen d6, if he hits my queen, offering the exchange of queens here, and if takes, check. Oh, okay, so this pawn is immune because of the fork. So queen d6, let's say castles. Can I get away with e5? Probably not, given the fact that my queen is pretty exposed d5, so maybe I can. Bishop e6, takes a6, and maybe his queen is close to trapped. So he has to give the pawn back so he doesn't trap his queen. Okay, I don't know these lines. That's an interesting way. That's an interesting approach. But I played c5, which felt natural enough. If a6, a4, why does that benefit black? I thought it just kind of weakened my dark squares. I like this idea of knight e8 actually. It's played only 3 times, but to me it makes sense to open up the diagonal which has just been weakened by him pushing his pawn, and then reroute it to the blockading square on d6. let's say e4. If it comes in straight away, I guess it can be kicked. e5 takes. Ooh, oops. About to sneeze here. Hmm. In any case, I kind of like this redeployment of the knight to d6. But knight b d7 seems reasonable, just developing. Knight b6 is the most commonly played line, but it's not great, evidently. Concedes to white a pretty big advantage. a6, a4, and queen a5. I'm not sure what this is accomplishing. Ah, and b5, so queen a5 prepares b5 because it pins its pawn. So just really trying to get in your queenside expansion when white has kind of claimed his stakes in the center, closed down the center. If you're not able to undermine that center, you're just going to be worse. So you have to find your play elsewhere. Okay, so knight b6 just castles. And so white did the right thing, evidently, just allowing that bishop to be captured, which I thought I was kind of happy to see. I was like, well, I get the light squares, but the thing is, the light square bishop is just bad bishop presently with these pawns in the light squares. Like it may or may not have a very bright future because the position may or may not open up. And meanwhile, he gains a lot of time and space just giving that bishop with these pawns on the light squares in the center. Yeah, so now takes and what I play b6. I thought e6 was my first impression, but I thought you can just get away with taking on c5. I thought, well, that's just a clean pawn, right? b6. Okay, so the engine just claims compensation for the pawn. But to me, like with human eyes, this just seems like almost a terminal in-game asset for white. If he's ever able to achieve an endgame where he can contest a blockading square, that just seems like, why am I just giving him a free pass d pawn for nothing? So yeah, I don't really like just giving that pawn away. So I think before this, yeah, this is why knight b6 is maybe not correct. I just need to be starting my queenside counterplay straight away and getting in b5 at all costs. So here knight comes back. I thought knight g4 would run afoul of e6, severing my bishop from the knight here. Like if it takes, I think you can just take the knight, right? It's a piece. I get some central pawns. I break down the center and get two pawns for it, but it should not be enough. So knight e8, bishop comes out, and yeah, I'm just worse here. White got everything he wanted out of the opening. I'm happy with f6, allowing this discovery, but it just kind of dissipates his center. And if I can get rid of his central advantage, then all of a sudden my pieces become liberated. He gets the open files, and that's the price I had to pay for that. And what I have, 120 here, and I expended another 23 seconds or something on this move and found the wrong square for the queen. Okay, so yeah, despite the fact that I do break down his center, he just gives the central. He's the first one to claim the central files because my rooks remain unconnected. Because he's played very forcefully. He's done all the right things. He assessed the position better than I did with giving away his light square bishop for the e4 and the d5 pawn. So I think he just knew these lines better and appreciated the pressure he was going to be able to exert a lot better than I did. I thought here I was maybe kind of back in the game, but maybe like this central control is just too powerful. Let's take a look at the engine line. Knight b5, queen f7, takes, and knight e5. And he just has a raging initiative. He's coming in on the 7th. His pieces are all way more active. And my queenside majority is just, like, it's not in motion. It's not really an asset in this position. Yeah, the activity counts for way more. Okay. Huh. Bishop f4 felt a little bit wrong to me, retreating the bishop instead of playing more forcefully. And queen c6. Yeah, and his rooks just infiltrate. I did miss rook d6, which is pretty sloppy. I missed a lot of things in this game. But yeah, so when I'm finally allowed to activate activate my pieces, I can find some resources. F3, and yeah, I missed the line where I can just take and play knight h5, but again, I was just chronically low on the clock this game. Takes, and then yeah, we saw how this played out. Okay, well, a game to learn from in terms of this opening line with what I think is called the quiet system, the Grunfeld, which is not without its venom, to be sure. I'm gonna tinker out playing this from the white side. I might try it out with queen b3, e3, queen b3. Okay, okay, well, good game to Sviatomir. Good game.